It was cold. It was very, very cold. It was beautiful seeing the snow everywhere over everything. The cars and the buildings, the tops of the buildings, and seeing people bundled up. But I got tired of, you know.
So all I was saying was, growing up in Jamaica, that I never wanted to come to this country to live. I just wanted to come here, see the snow, and go back, you know? And so that was it. They talk about individual snowflakes, they're very different, blah, blah, blah. I just wanted to see it and head back home.
All right. My first experience with snow was in New Orleans, and it never snowed. I remember like the 2 times it snowed in the 17 years I was in New Orleans. But it snowed, we went out, and we couldn't believe it, and we picked up the snow off the ground and threw it at each other. First, it wouldn't stay in a ball, and it seemed so different than what we thought snow would be, because it was really more like ice. And so we tried to make snowballs, but it wouldn't come together. And then we threw it at each other and said, "Ow, this hurts. And then, years later I thought about it and I said, it's really not snow, that was ice.
Stop being so loud.
This is soccer and the snow. Where the ball go? Black versus Mexican. I know you fucking need to go out there. Come on. You gotta come out here and guard me, nigga.
Hold on, time out.
Huh?
It's getting really wet, James.
Hey, it was like the first time I thought I experienced snow, it was really ice. But then I remember going to New York when I first moved to New York, and the first snowfall was always kind of magical. It's that one day in October or something, and you're in the lunchroom at school and you look out. I was like, oh man, it's snowing, and we all couldn't wait to go out. And you would go out and it would stick and it would be so beautiful. And then just a couple of hours later, it turned slushy and black and nasty and dirty, and it froze over into black ice, nasty and dirty. And then I always hated it. It's like, oh, I gotta go through this junk again. So that's my experience with snow. At first it's beautiful, and then it turns evil.
But is that because it turns black? I don't understand.
No.
No, because you gotta...
Not because it turns black.
Oh, I see what you do.
No.
That's just what I'm saying.
It's interesting. I was the one who brought up metaphor, right?
I don't like that. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? It's ugly.
No. You're absolutely right. I was the one that brought up metaphor.
It's dirty, okay, but
not that it's black.
Yeah.
Okay.
The thing that was nasty about it was it became slush, not its blackness.
There you go.
There you go.
Black is
And
beautiful.
you gotta walk it.
Yeah, but then that may be a real deep psychological subtextual impact that snow has had on me. But
In the Caribbean, snow is an impressive thing to us, because you just, it's snow and you just see it in I'm Dreaming of a White Christmas and, stuff like that. And those movies are what we get. Sunday matinees, we get the traditional Bob Hope and so. I know more about that than you guys do, and so you want to come see the snow. And so when we just got here, oh my God, my brother, the first day it snowed here in this country, we took off. We ran out. We were staying in my grandmother's, lived in the projects in New York. And we ran out just to see it because it was here. And my brother acted the fool, my youngest brother, and slid, just sliding, and broke his arm, and acted like nothing happened. My other brother was like, oh my God, act like nothing happened. It's okay. And had to go to the hospital. So that was, snow for us was just deep.
Let's see. What I really think about, what I remember about snow is in bed with my mom, listening to 1010 Winds News Radio to see what schools were closed that day, and waiting for them to say North Country Elementary School. So that you wouldn't have to go to school. I love snow at night especially. It's just exquisite. And then the major snowstorms of the century, like was it 96, the big snowstorm in New York? And the snow covers, not 96, what was it? Was it 96?
I don't remember, don't ask.
But when the snow is covers the tops of the cars and you can't even see the cars and you're snowed in, those I really remember. But I remember the ice storm of 72.
That one I remember.
Remember that one? It's either the ice storm of 72 or 74, which I think that'll just always be my all-time favorite. Because it was ice on the trees,
like this.
just thick. And all the limbs were just all to the way down. It was incredible because it was just ice.
The roads had ice like this.
Roads, and it wasn't snow on the ground. It was ice. I mean, it was just.
It looks like those pictures.
It does.
Like where you see like every limb, every twig
covered
in ice. And it just looks like decoration.
Yes,
like
looks like ornaments. It does. Looks like glass from Barney's. Very nice, expensive glass ornaments from Barney's. And I also remember our house is on a hill, and we would sleigh ride down the hill, or we would go to the golf course, and we would be the only black people in the snow. The only little black dots in the snow.
Anybody ever see the commercial? The look, the feel of cotton, the fabric of our lives, the touch, the feel of cotton, the fabric of our lives. The look, the feel of cotton, the fabric of our lives. Whose lives? We died. His story of fabrication, their little white lie. The devil arrived, snuck in on the tide, violated our mother, raped God's bride. Africa, she cried. The look, the feel of cotton, the fabric of our lives. Whose lives? We died. His story of fabrication, their little white lie. Society need not apologize for that which was prophesied. You see, only for a little while will the wicked profit off our demise. The Spanish, the Dutch, and the Portuguese baptized God's seed. in the name of Christianity. But in doing so, it was their own conscience they sought to ease, 'cause baptisms afforded safe passage through purgatory. Diabolical merchants exported the fruit of my mother tree for free. Pagans peddled their chattel across the seas, took full advantage of the ultimate franchise opportunity. SLAVERY. Say it with me now. Slavery, yes, slavery. Drudgery and toil, selling stolen spoils. Curse of the universe. Karma repays tenfold. Punishment worth its weight in gold. A debt settled with their souls. The look, the feel of cotton. The fabric of our lives. Whose lives? We died. His story, history. A fabrication. Their little white lie.
I have two stories about snow because, like you, I'm a Californian. I grew up in the valley, so I remember seeing my first snowfall, but that wasn't actually my first snowfall. It snowed once, I was told, when I was a baby, maybe like 1 or 2, and in Southern California it never snows. So supposedly it was such a weird day that it was actually snowing in LA that my parents had gone outside and they kind of lost track of me, and then the next thing they knew, I was outside too, running around in the front yard, and I had taken all my clothes off to play in the snow because I must have thought it was like cotton or something. I don't know. So they were out standing outside, with this little black baby naked dancing in the snow. But I don't remember that. So I never saw snow fall from the sky until I moved to New York after I graduated from school. And I remember the first snowfall. It was just like you described. It happened at night, and it was magical because I had never seen it fall. And I had been waiting and waiting for it to snow, and there had been the couple days where you saw just like the flake or two, and then it would stop. And then one night it was really cold, and someone said, "Look out the window! Look out the window!" And I looked out the window, and it was quiet. That was the part I didn't anticipate, was that snow falling, that there was no noise going with it. It was just so beautiful to see the little individual flakes, and it was so much more than I thought it was going to be. It was actually really, really beautiful night. We got dressed and we went outside, and I thought it was beautiful for a long time, and that must have been like in November, and then like in February, it was still cold, and that snow was still there, except now it was like piled up on the side of the road and would never melt, and it was like...
Was it black?
No, it was just dirty. It wasn't black. No, I'm not going to say that. But I will say I never learned to navigate the big slush puddles. You'd step off the curb and you would think you'd be stepping on the asphalt, but it would be that big black puddle of water, and I always got wet and dirty. But I just remember that it was so beautiful when it first came down in November. But like Valentine's Day, I remember thinking, okay, I want this cold weather to be over. And then in February, it was still really cold. And then like beginning of March, it was still really cold. And like end of March, it was still really cold. When is this going to end? So I don't know what my metaphor is with snow, except it's...
I think, no, you said something interesting. I have to go back to it.
What?
She said in her young, like they always say how she remembered, her family remembered some stuff. She said, I must have thought it was cotton.
Black people can't escape their ancestry, is what you say. That's what
Mommy, I'm supposed to be picking this. I'm picking the cotton right out the sky, Mama. I'm picking the cotton right out the sky. Cotton from the sky.
It's a miracle, Lord. It's falling from the sky.
having to, every day they go out the house, they have to put on layers of clothes to get to work. And then when they get to work, they take off some of the layers so they can work. And then if they go to lunch outside the building, they got to, put the layers back on. All that back and forth. It's not for me. It's nice to visit, but I wouldn't want to live there. Even though I really like Brooklyn. That was really nice.
It's wrong of me to assume that just because somebody's black, that they are afraid, that they don't want to live in the cold. Is an incorrect assumption that black people do not like the snow. That is, in fact, even say black people is a political 1960s assumption. I would have to be more accurate and say people of African descent do not necessarily have to hate the snow. In fact, people, they go on ski trips or,
Well, I don't know. Because I think I can only talk about me. You know what I mean? I think I can only talk about me. And I was born in Savannah, Georgia. So I think indigenously, like when I went home after having lived away for a long time, and I was actually as a child only there for 2 years, from age of being born until I was 2, and then my mother was traveling a lot. What was interesting was when I returned at the age, I guess, around 28 or something like that, my body and my mind immediately identified with the heat, the humidity, and it's almost like my muscles unwind as soon as I got off the plane. So it was almost cellular, my identification with that particular climate. And there was, from that cellular reaction, there was then a mental reaction as well, and a certain kind of unexplainable familiarity that made me feel as if I had come home. Now, when I think about the cold in particular, literally I can't think in the cold. I cannot think. And I'm angry. It's very easy for me to have, I already have a challenge when it comes to patience, but there's something about being cold that makes the inability to have tolerance more apparent. It literally is a physical thing. So when I said about going to Georgia and I felt like cellularly something happened, my muscles relaxed or whatever, in that same context, in the cold, I have a literal visceral reaction. My muscles tense up. I find my brain doesn't lubricate very well. And because of that, my emotional state is erratic. And I've gotten used to it. So then I have then programmed myself to actually hate the cold. I don't think so much it is I hate the cold as it is as I have had experiences of knowing what the cold does to me. And I hate what that climate does to me. So it's not so much about, I hate the cold, as it is I hate the reaction that I have to being uncomfortable. So thus I hate being uncomfortable. I hate having a restriction put on me. And that emotional state then colors my mental aspect, which then puts my sense of perspective apparently clear It's not gonna work. You can stop there. You can't do that.
He brought all 5'8" of me straight face to face with me. Ain't no use running now, there's just no escaping me. Patiently he waited for me to stop looking and to learn how to see who it is that I used to be. Back before I lost sight of the real me. And God, he afforded me a glimpse of who I will eventually be. The one that he intended when first he thought of me. You see all those trials and those storms, they weren't sent to break me. Although in pain I suffer not in vain, merely meant to shape me. Although in pain I suffer not in vain, merely meant to shape me. And now I know that I had to grow through that. You'll notice I didn't say go through that, but grow through that. To know not to do that to myself ever, ever again. Oh yes, my friend, in case you didn't know, nothing ever happened to me. See, I went right to it and them and yeah, those two. Funny the things we subject ourselves to. If only we knew what we know when we did what we do, whatever it is that we do on those days that we shouldn't be held accountable for a thing that we do. And if we had it to do all over again, yeah, we definitely do what we ought not do. Which is why we never smell the dog ick until we feel the squish. I said we never smell the dog ick until we feel the squish. Only then do we wish that we had looked before we leaped. Need I remind you, stop looking and just see. Stop searching and just be happy with who you were created to be. I never show the real me. Grace shows you what she wants you to see.
Well, I don't think I can remember my first time in the snow, but I can remember shoveling a lot of snow. I can remember building igloos and making ice on the inside of the walls so that we could be warm inside. It was a way to stay warm.
Igloos?
Yes, very warm. Warmer than you might think. I can make a pretty badass igloo.
And where did you do this?
In Fort Wayne, Indiana. So there's a lot of snow there. And if you don't know how to drive on the ice, you're not going to be driving at all. Let's put it that way. So, and also the blinding light that shines, reflects off of the snow is very memorable when you walk outside in the morning to shovel the snow out of the driveway so that someone could leave. It's the blinding light. You're not going to wear sunglasses. It's the winter. They don't really work. So, and the snow drifts. I don't know. I could talk about snow for a long time.
This was Kinté Cast number 1, The Snow Makes You Serious, with Monalisa Whitaker, Patrice Johnson, Wendell Pierce, Tina Hamilton, LisaGay Hamilton and her sister. I'm sorry, I cannot remember your name right now. Nabiyah, with her poem 5-6, and The Look, The Feel of Cotton. Judith Moreland, Saundra Quarterman, and Timeka Drew. Music components by Robert Rich from Sony Pictures, Sony Media Digital. They changed their name so much, I can't recall. Okay, so maybe some more next time. This is from Songhai System and another tribal move from kintespace.com. KINTESPACE.com. This is Roz X at kintespace.com.